and get started. Um, so first of all, I just want to welcome you and thank you for dedicating this time for you and for your, um, you know, for your well-being overall. We as mamas, and now especially being pregnant is, with all the tiredness and everything. Um, just want to give you kudos for that. And so first of all, I wanted to go a little overview of what the class is going to look like. I think maybe you might have seen the live piece of it before. Let me pause my music real quick. But yeah, so first of all, we're gonna start off. Normally at the end of class, I'm gonna be giving a journaling exercise, and then at the beginning of class we're just going to spend time talking about how your journaling exercise went, if there's anything in particular that you wanted to talk about, anything that you might have struggled with. So I'm going to be giving you that exercise a little later today, so you can take home, and hopefully it'll be something fun for you. And so during beginning of class, we're just gonna do a little, it's called Dharma sharing. We just talk about our struggles and whatnot. And then we're gonna be doing a yogic practice. It could be either a pranayama, which is maybe a breathing exercise, or it could be chanting like the mantra that we're gonna do today. Anything that is like from the yogic philosophy that you normally don't get in a regular yoga class. Those you may get more once you get a little bit more advanced into yoga, you may get those. Then we're going to be doing our asana practice, which is the physical postures, and then we're going to be doing at the end we're going to be doing a shavasana, which I may alternate between a guided meditation or maybe a yoga nidra for relaxation, or just silent, completely silent with maybe some music in the background just for relaxation. And then we will talk about the homework assignments and everything. Let me text my husband. He can leave now. He's like, I'm here outside waiting. Tell me, is everything okay? He's my technical support. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to do the mantra Pushpam, which is a yogic mantra from the Vedas. The mantra Pushpam, it's normally sung in the yogic tradition, but also the Hindu tradition. At the end of the pujas, they're just ceremonies that they have. Mantra Pushpam is very awesome in that he talks about the water as the basis for all life. And as I had posted on Facebook, the fact that the atoms for water, hydrogen, and oxygen got created really early in the early stages of the formation of the universe, it's really mind-blowing that they were able to figure that out too, like thousands of years ago. And this mantra honors the water as the nurturing and the secret force behind all of creation. And with that said, for us, when we're pregnant, our baby is also, that's all our baby knows. Our baby all he knows is the water and the beautiful warmth and, just enjoying the waters inside of us. And that's why it's so important for us to be hydrated, right? So whenever we have class, try to bring a glass of water with you, or a bottle of water with you, just because we want to make sure that, you don't get dehydrated in the practice. And let's see, I have mine too over here. I'm not pregnant, but I'm nursing. And yeah, and so let's just go ahead and get started. I send it to you, but if you don't want to open it, you just want to listen to it. I know you're very music oriented, so So if I don't hear the note correctly, just bear with me. So you can just listen and then close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And taking a deep inhalation for Om. Om Yoham Pushpam Vedam Pushpavam Prajavam Pushavam Bhavati Chandramava Apam Pushpam Pushpavam Prajavam Pushpavam Bhavati Jaivan Deva Yopam Ayatanam Veda Ayatanam Bhavati. He who dwells understands the truth of the flowers of waters, and he becomes the possessors of flower, children, and cattle to gain enlightenment. Moon is the flower of the water. He who understands this fact becomes the possessor of real truth. This is the truth. Understand this truth about your dwelling and become established in yourself. So, keeping your eyes closed, we're gonna start trying to bring awareness to our bodies, and then just scanning our bodies, starting from our forehead, noticing to see if there's any tension anywhere in our foreheads, our eyelids, our nose, our cheekbones, our neck, the back of the neck, our shoulders, particularly in our shoulders, our arms, maybe our low back, our bellies, or our legs, our knees, our feet, our toes, anywhere we may be holding tension. Just inhale and exhale. Just release the tension. Continue to inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale, and on your next exhale, just imagine all this tension release and just go away. And then just know that all of the to-do list that we may have is not going to go anywhere. We can always go back to it. But right now, this 75 minutes is just for you. So just try to nourish yourself and bring the awareness into your body, in your body and mind alone. And so when you found out that you were pregnant, you might have had so many things that came through your mind. It could be a lot of emotions if it was depending on whether it was planned or unplanned. And so some of those emotions might be excitement, fear, maybe anxiety, and whatever it is, we just want to not wish them away, but acknowledge them, realizing that they're there. And instead of pushing them away, just being gentle with those feelings. And sometimes there's decisions that we have to make based on this. So do we move? Do we stay home? Do we go back and move with family? Do we change jobs? Do we quit our jobs? What are we going to do about childcare? Just all of these questions that come to mind. Just Pam England talks about there's three different kinds of knowing. When you know something or when you need to make a decision, there's three different kinds of knowing. The first kind is the modern knowing. It's what the science is telling us, what the external factors are telling us, what the doctors are telling us, what maybe the doulas or the midwives are telling us, all the technical knowledge out there. And we can use that to help us make our decisions. There's also the personal knowledge that comes from the lower self. In the yogic tradition, we have the low self and the high self. In the lower self, it may be based on our previous past experiences. Maybe we had a bad experience in the past and we may be afraid to have the same issues this time around, or maybe we just want to maybe there's something about ourselves that we know that we have tendencies towards apprehension, or maybe we are so attached to a particular result that we are so determined, and so we need to make the distinction: what comes from our lower self, what comes from our higher self. The third kind of knowing is the higher self knowing, the part of us that's connected to the divine. That part of us, the yogic tradition calls the higher self. It's your intuition, your deeper knowing. You can access that when you slow down your breath, when you slow down your mind. Oh boy. And sometimes we make our decisions maybe just on plain intuition and don't pay attention to the technical experts. And sometimes it's the other way around. So as we go through our pregnancy and our life as mothers in our motherhood, we want to check, where is the needle? Is the needle too much to the right? Is the needle too much to the left? But in order to access this intuition of us, it requires practice. It requires for us to be able to develop this muscle, just like when we work on yoga poses. We develop muscle strength. The same way we can develop this muscle and knowing how to touch our intuition. So on our next inhalation, just breathe in and exhale. And trying to think of maybe a decision you've been needing to do, or something that you may be struggling with. And let's try to calm the minds together. And when you know what it is, just shake your head yes. Continue to breathe and emptying the mind. And I want you to hear to my voice. The answer is inside of you. Whenever baby doesn't want to sleep, or our toddler is too fussy, mama knows best, right? Mama knows, oh, it's because she's sleepy, or maybe she's hungry. She just wants a hug. That intuition, we have it available at all times. And we can always tap into it when we focus on our breath. And if you don't hear anything, that's totally fine. If your heart doesn't say anything at this point in time, it's totally fine. We can develop that muscle as we go. On your next inhalation, lift your hands up towards the sky. Inhaling, both hands up. And exhaling, hands back down to the side. Inhaling up. Exhaling back down. One more time, inhaling up. Exhaling down. One last time, inhale up, and then this time we're gonna bring our right hand to the ground, doing a little side stretch. And inhaling back to center. Exhaling, dropping the left hand on the ground, doing side stretch. And back to center. One more time, dropping the right hand. And back to center. Exhaling the left hand. And then back to center. So now we're going to move into twists now. So inhaling, lifting the hands up, and then exhaling, bringing the right hand behind your back and bringing your left hand on your knee. Small twist. So we don't want to cross right. So when we're pregnant, because of our bellies, I know you're still in the first trimester, I believe, right? First trimester, second trimester, okay. But we still don't want to add pressure to the belly. So instead of doing the regular twist you do during yoga, we're just going to make sure that we have enough space for baby. So we bring our left hand to our left knee, this small twist, gazing behind our right shoulder, exhaling, hands back up towards the sky, and this time bringing your right hand on your right knee, small twist on the other side, gazing behind our left shoulder. And then inhaling, lifting both hands up, and then exhaling, bringing down to your knees. And now we're gonna do a few circles with our hips. So moving towards the right. Trying to synchronize the breath here also. I like to place a blanket under my hips, if you have a blanket. So that way it raises up your hips so that your knees are not at the same level as your hips, so that they're lower. You're doing your rounds, your circles. Starting with small circles. And then making that circle a little bit bigger. And then going in the opposite direction. Then this time, coming back to center, we're gonna bring our feet and open them all up in V. And making sure that we are extremely well padded here on the back of our knees. If you have some blankets you can put under the knees, we want to make sure we're not overstretching the hamstrings. Hamstrings injuries can last for several months. We don't want you to go into labor with a pulled hamstring. It wouldn't be good. And now start to stir the pot. So just pretend we're stirring a big pot of, I don't know, maybe beans and rice or whatever sounds good to you. Salsa. Big pot of salsa. And then moving to the other side. When I was pregnant with my first, I liked everything that was sour, refreshing, with lots of lime. And back to center. So this time we're gonna inhale our hands up, and then we're gonna bring our right hand to our right foot. Doing a little bit of a side stretch, and if that's a little uncomfortable, then just bring your hand on the ground instead, whatever feels better for you. So you should feel a very nice little stretch here. You're gonna stay there for a couple of breaths. Inhale and exhale. Whatever feels good. If you need to send your torso forward or sending it back a little bit, just, play with it, whatever feels good to you. then lifting both hands up and doing the same thing on the opposite side. And just feeling that nice stretch on this side. Again, just changing your torso, whatever position you may find that it feels good, and you may be stretching on the front of the thighs, or maybe the outer portion of your hip muscles. And then you're coming back to center. So this time we're gonna go into all fours, so closing our knees. We're gonna move into our famous cat-cows, which are like the best thing for pregnancy and overall. So when we do our cat-cows, we want to make sure that we don't dip our belly too much. We don't want to create a big curvature here in the lumbar spine. So inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, gazing up towards the sky. Exhaling, rounding our back. Cat pose. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling to cat. And then continue doing this at your own pace. Trying to again link the movement with your breath. So as you inhale, you open the chest, going to cow. And as you exhale, you round your back, creating a nice curvature in all the spine, massaging all of those vertebrae. It's super important to keep our spine flexible. That helps with good posture also. Whenever you may have low back pain, especially later on in pregnancy, and you get a little bit bigger, these exercises were just wonderful, at least for me. That just kept me going. So here, we're gonna come back to stillness, and we're gonna do a few hip rolls, or hip circles rather. Drawing circles with your hip. Yeah. Moving into one direction, and now reversing to the opposite direction. And then just coming back to stillness, and then sending those hips to side from one side to the other. Coming back to center, we're going to move into our first down dog. So first of all, I want you to tap your feet on the ground, just sending some energy down on the feet. And then curling our toes under and lifting our hips up towards the sky, down dog. And walking our dog slowly. First down dog of the day. So here we're stretching our fascia of our lower legs. Then kind of push the mat away from you with your hands. Push the mat, or if you I don't know if you're on a mat or on a, okay, then just push the mat forward away from you. That will allow you to lengthen the spine a little bit more, and then just shaking your head, yes, no, releasing any tension that you may be holding on your neck, creating space in between your ears and your shoulders. And then from here, slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Moving into ragdoll. So here we want to keep enough space for baby. We need to make sure that you have enough space in between your feet. Yeah. And then just grab opposite elbows, bending the knees, and then just swing side to side, ragdoll. It also provides a nice stretch of the spine in the opposite direction, just allowing some traction of the spine and the cervical spine. And then that's also a nice stretch on your low back. So we want to keep the knees bent here because that will also protect our hamstrings. And slowly stacking vertebra one at a time, standing up. One vertebra on top of the other. And now let me change the view of my camera real quick. Alright, so here we're gonna do a few moon salutations. So for moon salutations, being on the top of your mat, I'm gonna do it sideways first so you can see me. So inhaling your hands up, exhaling, folding forward, enough space for baby. Inhaling, moving into a squat. Exhaling, folding forward. And now planting your hands on the ground, stepping the right foot back, making sure we have enough space for baby there too. So we're doing a long lunge here. And then lifting your hands up to the sky. And just pulse back and forward. So here we're stretching the right side of our psoas muscle. Also helpful for round ligament pain. Placing your hands back on the ground, moving into down dog, lifting that knee off the ground, stepping that left foot behind us, down dog. And then from down dog, placing the knees on the ground and sending those hips into child's pose. Those knees open, making sure that we're not putting too much pressure on belly. Okay, so if we need to have our hips up in the sky, that's fine. We don't have to go all the way down, but whatever your body allows, you just listen to your body. And then from here, lifting both hands up to the sky, placing your hands together, and back down into child's pose. From here, moving back into our down dog. And stepping the right foot forward this time. Dropping the knee on the ground and inhaling our hands up, bringing our hands together. And then just do a nice stretch, pulsing back and forward on this side. So now we're stretching the opposite side. Placing hands back on the ground, curling our back toes under, lifting the knee off the ground, stepping forward into a forward fold, and planting the hands, moving into our squat. Then coming all the way up to the sky, lifting our hands up and hands back into heart center. So one more time, inhaling up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, moving into our squat. Exhaling, stepping the right foot behind us. Inhaling, hands up. And pausing one more time. Back and forward. And then placing our hands back on the ground. Curling our back toes under, lifting that knee off the ground, stepping the left foot back into our down dog. From here, moving our knees on the ground into tabletop, opening those knees, sending our heads back into child's pose. Inhaling back into tabletop. curling our toes under, moving back into down dog. You're stepping the right foot forward, dropping the left knee, lifting our hands back up towards the sky. Low lunge. Or crescent pose rather. Looking into pose. And then hands back on the ground. Stepping your foot forward, forward fold. Inhaling, coming into your squat. And then lifting your hands up all the way up. And exhaling, hands back to heart center. Inhaling up. Exhaling, folding forward. And then go moving into your squat. And stepping the left foot this time on the ground, dropping the knee on the floor, inhaling, hands up. Exhaling, placing our hands on the ground, stepping the right foot back into down dog. And then dropping those knees on the ground, opening the knees wide open, sending our hips back into child's pose. Coming back into tabletop, inhaling our both hands up to the sky. And back on the ground. Into tabletop. Curling our toes under. Inhaling, lifting our hips off the ground. And stepping our left foot forward. Low lunge, knee on the ground. Inhaling, both hands up. And exhaling back down on the ground. Stepping that right foot forward, moving into our squat, and then standing up all the way up to the sky, lifting our hands up, exhaling, hands back to heart center. One last time, inhaling up, and then if at any point you feel short of breath, just let me know, or just slow down, let me know, okay? Inhaling, hands up, exhaling, folding forward. Then inhaling, coming into your prayer squat. And then planting the hand, stepping that left foot back again. Knee on the ground. Inhaling, both hands up. Placing those hands back on the ground, curling our back toes under, stepping the right foot back into our down. From here, dropping our knees on the ground. Opening up the knees, sending our heads back into our chest. Inhaling, lifting both hands up to the sky. Doing a nice stretch here of both the soles. Exhaling, hands back on the ground into chest pose. Moving into tabletop, rolling our toes under, lifting our hips up towards the sky, down dog. Looking between the feet, stepping the left foot forward, dropping the knee on the ground, inhaling, hands up towards the sky. Putting our hands back on the ground. One last time, curling our toes under, stepping your right foot forward, forward fold, and moving into your squat pose. Inhaling, hands up all the way to the sky, and then exhaling, hands back into your heart. Yay! We completed 4 moon salutations. That's what we just did. There's a modification of the sun salutations. Alright, so from here, we're just going to shake our feet, shake our hands. And slowly come back to the ground into your prayer squat. So for prayer squat, I like to have a blanket to where I can step on my blanket. Depends on your anatomy. You may not need this, but for me, I need to have my heels raised up so that way I can use the blanket to raise my heels up. Just come back into your prayer squat, which you are already in your prayer squat. And then we're gonna do some Kegel exercises here. So one thing about Kegels is that normally you want to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, but for birth, you actually release the pelvic floor muscles. So not only do you need to strengthen, but you also need to learn how to release them. So today, since you're still early and we're still early in the series, we're going to be working on strengthening, but later on, as you progress, and if you decide to come back for more series, then we'll learn how to release the pelvic floor. So first, as a matter of fact, I don't know if whomever may be watching this later too, I wanted to share also that I've been going for therapy for pelvic floor therapy. I'm 8 months postpartum, and two. You too? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so wonderful. So let's just work on some strengthening first. And so on your inhale, you're gonna pretend you have an elevator just like we were taught before in childbirth class. And then inhale, lifting those is called Mula Bandha in yogic terms. And exhale, just release those muscles. Inhale and exhale. We're just gonna stay here. So I like to use my prayer beads to count. Instead of counting prayers, I count Kegels. So inhaling, exhaling. Just at your own pace, do about 30. Let me know when you're done. You done? Okay, wonderful. All right. So coming back to seated. Actually, let's come back on the wall. So we're gonna do a few exercises here on the wall. So, I forgot to take this off. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. So let's move into warrior 3. So step back now, away from the wall to where you can face the wall forward and very comfortably lean your hands on the wall. And then from here, go ahead and lift that right leg off towards the sky or towards the back of your room. And then just keep the pose here for a couple of breaths. Bending that knee a little bit, so to make sure that you're not overstretching it. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to move into tree pose. So that same foot that you had lifted, bring it either on your thigh or your calf or just on the ground, wherever it feels comfortable for you. And then trying to see if you can balance. Of course, we have the wall there as we are changing our weight. We need to make sure that we're not going to fall down. So lift your hands up. So here is another place where you can also use the pelvic floor muscles to help you with your stability. So inhaling, really squeezing that Mula Bandha. And And then maybe focusing on a place on the ground or a dot on the wall or wherever so that you won't fall. This is wonderful. Balancing exercises are just wonderful for the brain. And then release. And then from here, do you have a couple of books close by? Okay. So bring your books. We're gonna step on one of the books for a couple of them. They're really thick. I have a yoga block. Oh, perfect. Okay. So just stack them together. And that foot that you were working on, we're gonna release that foot. So step the opposite foot on the books. Yeah. The opposite. Yeah. Well, that's good. And then just swing that foot back and forward. So this also works with the psoas. And then just lengthen it. We're using gravity here, the weight of our leg, to do gentle work here. So we're just not really swinging it with too much work. We're just letting gravity do the work here. It just sometimes after you sit for a long time in front of a computer or this exercise or in front of the TV or whatever we may be doing, this just feels wonderful. For me, I know I did it while I was at work in between breaks, and that's just helped me tremendously. And then step back on the ground, remove that block or those books away from you. And we're gonna do the same series except on the other side. So this time place your hands on the wall and then lift that left foot off the ground into a warrior three. And it doesn't matter what your warrior three looks like. What's important here is number one is the balance, the strength on the leg, but also we want to keep those hips squared. We don't want, whenever we lift our foot, we want to make sure that we're not opening up, but that we're keeping those hips square to the mat, the ground. Yeah, good. And then release that foot back on the ground, moving into tree pose. So for tree, same thing, placing the foot on the heel, the ankle, or the thigh, just never the knee. We don't want to give pressure to the knee. And then see if you can let go of the wall. Squeezing Mula Bandha, keeping it tight, placing your attention on a place on the ground or in front of the wall, and maybe a dot on the wall. And then maybe bringing your hands together. So concentration is also another thing that for me, it helped me tremendously during my active labor of my second pregnancy. It was conscious concentration what actually helped me through the pain. All right, so there. Just release the foot and then shake it. So now we're gonna bring our books and stepping the opposite foot on the books and then just swing our leg back and forward. And sometimes this exercise, it may seem like there's nothing going on, but there's a lot going on here. And the way our lower body, our lower extremities is connected to our upper body is that psoas muscle. That's like a very long muscle connecting from the inner joint to our inner abdominal. Or is it the inner abdominal? Yeah. And those are two parts together. And then just come off the books here. Removing your books out of the way, and now coming back to the mat. Now we're gonna come back to seated first. And And from here, let's do let's lay down on your side. And then just lift one foot up and then down. And then continuing to do leg work. So here we're working our hip muscle area, or not our rotators, but adductors. And then moving into A4, so placing the feet on the ground, and then start to lift the bottom foot up. One thing may be harder than the other. And then from here, just grabbing the top of your foot, and then do a nice stretch, quad stretch. So by pulling the foot towards your glutes, feeling that nice stretch on the top thigh. Let's just breathe into it. And then back, release, and moving to the other side. Lifting our left foot up, pulsing back and forward.
Birds make great sky circles of their freedom.
And then dropping the foot forward, and then lifting the opposite leg up and down. A few repetitions here. And then doing that quad stretch, so squeezing the foot closer to our glutes. And breathe. Alright. And then we're going to come into seated to hero's pose. So bring your books back and just stack them all on top of each other, as many books as you can. Yeah, nice. And if you have a pillow, you can use a pillow to put them on top. I don't have an extra pillow here, but I'm going to put a couple of blankets. And then here, we're going to move into hero's pose. So just sitting on the block. See, whatever feels comfortable. So keeping our knees a little bit closer. And if that doesn't feel good, then it's totally fine. Just, sit down. However, just listen to your body, whatever your body tells you. Yeah. And so from here, we're going to do a couple of stretches here. So the first one is going to be cow's pose. So inhaling your right arm up and then dropping it behind your back, and then bringing your left hand underneath and trying to see if you can interlace those hands together. And if you can't, that's totally fine. I probably should have asked for a strap class before class started. You can always use a belt or anything that's long. And do a few circles. And then just reverse it this time. Your left arm goes up above, and then your right arm underneath. Excellent. you're so well prepared. Actually, I have mine too. Right. Usually just your hair, alright. And then just release. And your arms out. Do a circle, just one direction again. And the other. Alright, from here, we're gonna move into our Kriya. So the Kriyas, I don't know if you've done Kundalini yoga before, but basically the Kriyas are exercises that you do for energetic work as well. It's actually used for things to people who have like postpartum depression or even a PSTD or anything like that. So any energetic block that may be in your body is just releases all that, any blockages. So for that, the reason why I like to use the Kriyas though is, let me change my video. But the reason why I like it is this is extremely good for, let's see, here we go. This is extremely good for getting ready for birth and getting ready for the pain, especially if you are looking into having a natural or medicated birth. These techniques, I've used them also during my pregnancy to help me cope with pain. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna play a nice song, and during the duration of the whole song, we're gonna lift our hands out, and then we're gonna pretend that we're moving, opening a faucet, opening and closing a water faucet back and forward, and we're gonna be doing that during several minutes, and it's gonna get quite uncomfortable. But then that's when you start your self-talk, right? And you start saying, I can do this. Nothing's happening to my body. I'm not dying. I can, this is not, nothing's happening to me. I can totally go through the finish line. So let's do this for, let's do this for Whoa, just shake your hands off. Oh, how was that? Was that good mentally? Oh, it was bad? Well, we practice, and the point is, you can totally do this, right?
Yeah.
So it's just we just need to practice, and so um, in class, I'm also going to be sharing other techniques for dealing with pain, and so that's and the reason why I'm doing this is because during my first pregnancy, I said, "Oh, I'm a yogi. I know all these things. I practice yoga meditation. I could totally do this." And but I didn't practice with the intention of helping my own birth. I was practicing for just my regular practicing, but it wasn't an intentional practice. On my second pregnancy, I was like, okay, everything that I know, nothing I couldn't apply. They just the pain was just way too much, right? But so this time I'm gonna get comfortable with the pain, and that's what I practice. I feel it is so practicing being comfortable with it and befriending it. Instead of wishing it away, that's what causes suffering. When you wish it away, when you wish that things were different, not only with the pain and birth, but in life in general, and it's hard to accept things and befriend things. That's what causes suffering. So the second time I said, I'm not doing that, and I'll have to maybe do a go live for. I like to share our experiences of birth later on in the group, um, and tell our birth stories. I think that's really healing for all of us. All right, so from here we're gonna move to the last portion of our class, which is Shavasana. Is my favorite part of class. So I don't know if you saw the video on how to make a bolster, but if you didn't have time to make a bolster, then you can just lay down on the side, and that way you don't put any pressure on your belly. And just make yourself comfortable. If you need a pillow on your head, if you need the pillow as a body pillow, you can. What I really like is having those pillows in front of you, and then just laying down that, um, the leg on top of it to open up the pelvic area. And then just if you need to cover yourself with a blanket or whatever you have to do to make yourself super comfortable. Okay, and we'll start by closing your eyes and go back to your breath, paying attention to your inhale and your exhale. Then start to relax your forehead, your eyelids, your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. Relaxing your arms and your fingers. Relaxing your chest and your belly. Relaxing your legs, your knees, your calves, your heels, your feet, your toes. And then just bring your awareness to baby. And imagine your baby being as relaxed as you are. Just swimming in the waters of your womb. So you and baby are about to take a journey with the waters of the moon. Visualize yourself walking outside in the middle of the night. The moon is big and white and it's just beautiful. It's hanging from a peaceful black and navy blue backdrop. The most beautiful moon that you have ever seen in your life. You are by a natural body of water. It could be a pristine mountain lake or a gently flowing river, a calm ocean, whatever resonates with you. See yourself standing by the edge of this body of water. And then you notice the reflection of the moon in the nice waters. You see in the water the sparks of the moon shining on it. You listen to your heart as it gently suggests that you slowly walk towards the water. So you test the temperature with your feet and you feel the absolute perfection in temperature. Not too cold, not too hot. It's just right. So you go all the way in with a joyful smile in your face. It feels so wonderful to you, exactly just what you needed. So you now swim into the reflection of the moonlight. You bask yourself in the brightness of the full moon as you float in the warm water facing up. Relax. You're completely relaxed with not a care in the world. You are completely happy, at peace, with no worries. Taste the blissfulness of happiness and joy. You know how to tap into it. You've known it all along. If your mind starts to wander, just come back to your breath. With each breath, connect yourself back to the power of the moon and the waters. Continue to relax even deeper. You are becoming one with the water and the full moon reflection. There's nothing holding you back. Feel the moon's glowing and nourishing energy uplifting you. That's exactly what you needed. there. You don't have to go anywhere. Release everything else. Dump your head back and let the water renew and refresh your whole head, your mind, your thoughts. Negative thoughts or anything that's maybe holding you back, they're all being washed away. Your spirit becomes refreshed. You now know that the learner energy is drawing out your natural inner source of strength and knowing. That's right. It's all inside of you. Your way back to the water's edge. Start to slowly get out of the water. Wrap yourself in a very warm blanket as you sit down by the edge. Cup of hot tea, coffee, whatever you want to drink. And now you thank the moon and the water for reminding you Whenever you're ready, place your right hand on the ground to help lift yourself back up to seated. Slowly, slowly, very gently. Bringing your hands to prayer. Just bowing your head down to your prayer hands. To your forehead to the prayer, your hand to the prayer pose. Just thankful for life, for being alive, for everything that you are waking up. And you know who you truly are, this divine being of life. Just rubbing your hands, generating some heat, and placing them on top of your ears. And just passing your body, passing your arms, your legs, your low back. Moving any stagnant energy. Just thank you for being here. Thank yourself for being here, for dedicating this time for you. So I hope you enjoyed this class. The light in the honor is the light in you. Thank you, Laura. Let's see.
I've missed this so much. I used to go to yoga every week at South